Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. For today's URC Team of the Week on the back of two local derbies as the Sharks and the Stormers recorded victories over the Lions and the Bulls respectively on Saturday. A very tough Team of the Week to choose and two games that were pretty high scoring and were almost a little bit sort of like preseason games in terms of teams who are obviously still trying to get back into their sort of full swing of things, obviously trying to sort of organise their systems, trying to get back to playing the way that they were last year or improving on the way they were playing last year. And I thought we watched two pretty entertaining games. I think what we saw was an array of talent standing up over the weekend, which sort of further proved the depth of South African rugby, that we do have so much talent playing within our local URC franchise. A couple of very young players coming through, a couple of very sort of the older guards sort of stepping up. And it was sort of clear to see why some of the players are considered among the best in the world. And it was a weekend where I felt the big players stood up quite a lot. Across all the teams, a lot of the big players, the big names, players that you expect to be able to change the game and to take charge of things, very much did that over both the games, both in Johannesburg and in Pretoria. Before we look at the Team of the Week, please do smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Obviously, this is just our Team of the Week. Let us know what you think. I'll be part of yours down in the comments below. Quite a couple of tricky selections. But yeah, without any further ado, this is what we have gone with. And you'll see it's a team with quite a few Stormers players and a lot of Sharks players. And I think that you can quite understand the amount of Sharks players because they very much sort of outclassed the Lions, who sort of stuck with them for a lot of the time, but were just cut above the rest. Whereas the Stormers-Bulls game, it could have gone either way. In fact, it was a last-minute try winners. So that sort of showed you how close those games were. But I think in every sort of position where there is a Sharks player, you could probably justify a Bulls or a Stormers player. I thought it was quite difficult sort of I think the Lions had a couple of standouts, but overall didn't have too many players that, across the park were really good enough. I think there's a lot of improvement and that needs to happen over the next couple of weeks. But in the front row, I've gone with three different players from three different unions. Stevie Kitshoff for me was absolutely immense in the Stormers. He anchored that scrum. Sadly was given quite a hard time on the other end, but especially in the second half when Lisa Walker came in. But I thought that Stephen Kitshoff in general just anchored that scrum brilliantly. He was fantastic around the park, very good at the breakdown, makes his tackles. He's world class. That's what he is. And this weekend we saw exactly why he's one of the best props in the world. I thought Johannes Koppeler was the best of the hookers. I didn't think he was a great weekend for hookers. I thought Kieran van Vuuren probably the next best after him. I thought that both Lions hookers struggled with Jakob Asake and PJ Botha had terrible days. I thought Pheasant Barter, when he came on, looked ripe and too special. I thought Scarrington Benny didn't necessarily have his best game. So probably one of the positions where there weren't too many standouts, but I thought Johannes Koppeler was characteristically sort of just very solid. The lineouts were pretty good. He makes his tackles. He always carries the ball whenever he needs to. The red scrum cap just always seems to be everywhere. And then tight, I'll go with Colasari. Now, I was thinking about going with Thomas Toy, but generally I thought that the Lions actually probably had the better of that Sharks scrum for quite a lot of the game. They didn't always necessarily get the reward. It's something that the Lions spoke about in the post-match. They want to review them and understand why they weren't being more rewarded for the dominance they had, because I think there were very few scrums when both Colasari and Steve Toy were on the park up against Thomas Toy and Oxford Share, where I don't think they were ever dominated. I think there weren't too many scrums where you ever felt the sort of Sharks had ascendancy. There was obviously that one in the, when Stuka Mkuna came on, but then the Lions responded quite well. It was quite an interesting scrum battle. But I thought Colasari once again put his hand up and showed that he is a loose head that definitely is pushing for high honours. For the two locks, it's Walsticker I thought played very well, but it's difficult. I thought Marvin always played good as well, but it's difficult to look past the two Sharks locks who cause an absolute havoc at Lions line-out time. I think movement here, I think, saw 3 line-outs. I think Harry Andrews saw 4 line-outs. Between them, they still 7 line-outs. And that, in many ways, probably won them the game because the Lions had no set piece to work with in terms of the line-outs. They had so many set pieces on the 5-metre line, where Rodney Moore could have gotten them over, and they could have probably been quite competitive and should have got themselves in the lead potentially. However, those two just caused mayhem and never allowed the Lions the opportunity to attack from a line-out. Generally around the park, I thought they were pretty solid as well. In terms of the loose trio, I thought Jaco Kriel looked back at his best this weekend for the Lions. I was very impressed with him. I thought Dion Fourie was pretty solid for the Stormers, got around the park quite well. A little bit, like Siri came on was pretty solid, but I don't think there were too many standouts. Apart from that, I thought James Fenton had a bit of a quiet game for the Sharks. And number 7, I got Jean Labuschagne again. One of those positions where I don't think too many players sort of knocking the door down in that 7 jersey. Ron Strowley had an all-right game for the Lions. You look at the Bulls, and I thought Arno Boerta had quite a quiet game by his standards. He's full of running, but didn't really manage to get over the advantage line as much as he characteristically would. And I thought Ernst van Rijn was also very quiet and got a yellow card for the Stormers. So I'm going with that Skakni. Albert Lowe versus Evan Ruiz was a pretty intense battle this weekend. And I thought that you could have easily have gone with Evan Ruiz or Albert Lowe. I felt that Albert Lowe had the better game, though. I felt that I saw him more. I felt that he had bigger impact. His defense was very solid, and he was very good ball carrier for the Bulls. I mean, he's such a big unit. I thought Evan Ruiz was much better defensively this weekend than what we've seen, but characteristically didn't manage to get those massive runs in that he loves to do and sort of barge through defenses. But I thought Evan Ruiz played very, very well. They both played pretty well. I thought they were pretty outstanding throughout the game. So, and very much sort of the two leading candidates for who could be the next number 8 from a stacking perspective for the Springboks. For Scrum Mile on Hershey, Yankees looked very good, looked very crisp, looked very organised, but I really enjoyed the way Grant Williams played the game. I thought that the Sharks beat the Lions because of how well they played in open play, how well they managed to move the ball around, keep the hands going. And I think Grant Williams is a very important player. He likes to play off the cuff, he likes to get things going quite quickly, and I thought that you look at some of the tries, a lot of it came down to his quick distribution and his quick thinking, his sort of awareness of space. But it was very good to see Hershey Yankees playing some very good rugby once again. I thought that Andre Warner was pretty solid for the Lions as well, and Rosa Pierre looks pretty solid. I thought generally, I don't think there were too many bad scrum performances actually this past weekend. Monty Leibach for me gets the number 10. I thought Morningstar was excellent when he came off the bench and really changed the game for the Bulls, but Monty Leibach for the Stormers, especially in that first half, just couldn't do anything wrong. He was kicking well, he was reading the game well, he was attacking well, and I think that he's very much got that hands on the number 10 jersey. And Tim Spiel's going to have a hard time dislodging him. And I think that if David Williams fancies himself as playing at half, he's going to have to start playing. It's a very impressive rugby if he is to try and bench Amani Leibach. Number 11, it's easy to go. Muxon would be try-scoring machine, hat-trick for him. Just too easy. Far, far too easy. Sean Everett said that he reckons he's probably the best left wing in the world at the moment. And if you look at his try-scoring record, it's hard to argue that, isn't it? But in the centres, I didn't think there were too many standout 12. Corner Hendricks had quite a quiet game by his standards. Burger Windel also quite a quiet game by his standards. Rick Pretorius didn't have too much of an impact. So I've got Ben Tapuai. He looked very at home in that Sharks backline. I think it's going to be a very interesting partnership between him and Lekanya, who is my number 13 as well. What more do you need to say? He's a magician. When he plays rugby, he really is quite phenomenal as Lekanya, and was once again very influential this weekend as the Sharks captain. Number 14, I went with Ed van der Merwe ahead of Madosh Tambwe. And the reason that I thought that Madosh Tambwe in the first 10 to 15 minutes of the Bulls was one of the main reasons that they were really on the back foot. He stuffed that grounding, which led to a Stormers try. He gave away a penalty for being in front of the kickoff. So he did come and score a try later in the game. I think he did grow into the game quite nicely. But in my opinion, sort of more cancelled out his early errors as opposed to sort of putting him cut above the rest. Whereas I thought Edel van der Merwe was terrific off the kickoffs for the Lions. He chased down really hard. He attacks very well. Defensively, he was actually pretty solid. He looks to be packaged, Edel van der Merwe. I think it's a very exciting time ahead for him in the Lions backline, especially playing next to someone like I want to see this Similani, who hopefully, as the Lions grow, will be able to put Edel van der Merwe into space and into positions where he can sort of show his scoring prowess. Now, number 15, I've gone with Warwick Lunt. He came off the bench. I think he's the only bench player who actually makes this 15. Changed the game. Completely changed the game. Was responsible for the 2 tries that actually eventually won the Stormers the game. No fullback in the country has his game awareness. No fullback in the country can take the ball to the game line and find space and put players into space like Warwick Lunt has. He's an extraordinary talent. And I thought that, Abdullah Vass is very unlucky to make this 15 because he looked very good. Had plenty of pace. He ripped through the Lions' defense a couple of times. But Warwick Lunt, for me, is the reason the Stormers won. When that awareness he had, that playmaking ability he has, is for me what gave the Stormers that victory in the end. So he does make my 15 there. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Smash like and subscribe to the channel. I want to know what your opinions are. As always, thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven. I'll chat to you soon.